What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Grant.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are the G Team. Last week we talked about having a 2020 vision for God's will, and I'm feeling a lot better than I was last week. I can actually taste and hear and smell now, so I'm feeling a lot better. But unfortunately, Gabby's not feeling as good. She's kind of coming down with a little bit of something. So we're still going to do a normal video this week. Hopefully we'll be able to make it through it without having any coughs or anything crazy going on. But definitely be praying for her. Hopefully she feels better. She goes back to school tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow.
When they see this.
Yeah, when they see this, it'll be tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
But Monday's her first day back to school it'll be the third semester that she's done. So it's going to be a pretty rough one. They said this is the hardest semester for her. But I'm sure she'll be fine. She's smart. She'll get through it. But I've already been back to school for a week. I'm ready to be done with senior year and just graduate. But like I said, this will be her third semester, so she's almost halfway through with her college because it's only a 2-year program. Yeah. So she'll be done here pretty soon. I know she's excited about that.
I'm very excited.
But by the end of this year, she'll be literally over halfway done.
I'll be a junior at the end of the semester.
Yeah, so that's exciting. But definitely be praying for her. She goes back this first week since she's not feeling too good because it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world going to clinic and everything, feeling bad. So hopefully she'll start feeling better starting tomorrow and everything. But this week we're just going to do a quick devotion. We're going to be talking about Martha and Mary when Jesus came to Martha's house. And this is going to be a really good devotion for us with our busy lives and how we kind of get caught up in the hustle and bustle of things, because that's something that we tend to do as really just modern day Americans. We do it a lot. We do so many things throughout the day and we just get caught up and stuff. So this is going to be a great devotion. We'll go ahead and get into it now and we'll start reading, and you can read along on your screen.
Okay, so like he said, this will be about Martha and Mary. So this is Luke chapter 10 verses 38 through 42. And I'm just going to go ahead and start. Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. And Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her.
Now would be a good time to take the video, stop and pray, ask God to just work in your life through this devotion, and we will be right here when you're done.
Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and dive right in, and we're going to talk about the roles of Martha and Mary in this. So he talks about in verse 40 about how Martha was cumbered about much serving. So she was really focused, basically like what our moms would be doing if someone were to come to our house. Yeah. They're always, if you have family members coming over, or I know when Grant came over for the first time, Mom was so worried about what our house looks like. But I think that's what they're talking about Martha was doing during this. She was worried about if her house was clean, if Jesus needed anything, if he was well fed, if he needed something to drink. She wanted to make sure that he was comfortable and that she was doing everything she could to help him and be a good host to him. Sorry. And then talking about Mary's role, about how she was sitting at Jesus' feet and heard his word. Martha was so worried about the house that she didn't even stop to think about, oh, wait a second, this isn't just some ordinary guest. This is Jesus in my home. Yeah. Mary, however, noticed that, and she knew that she just wanted to sit and listen to what he had to say because he was so important. It wasn't some stranger or some family member off the street coming into their home. This was Jesus in their home.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, too, if you look at the position of Mary. She's not standing up. She's not like hugging Jesus normally. She's at his feet. And if we were to meet the most, let's do the president. That's a good illustration. If we were going to meet the president of the United States, which fortunately I've had the chance to do before, and when I met him, I shook his hand and I talked to him standing up. Yeah. I didn't get at his feet. and basically worship him. I just shook his hand, talked to him like a normal person. And in our physical lives, I mean, that's probably the most powerful person that we can say we can meet on earth. I'd say would be the President of the United States. And even when I met him, I wasn't at his feet or anything. But if you look at Mary, she's literally at Jesus' feet. And I can just imagine Mary literally almost hugging around his legs at his feet and just laying on the ground looking at him. And that's like a very, very good illustration of basically what we are to Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to humble ourselves to even get a glimpse of Jesus, because he is just so much greater than what we are, and we just can't understand that. And I think we have to not skip over that part. I think we'd be doing an injustice if we didn't even look at where she was. Because not only was she giving Jesus all the attention while her sister was serving and busy getting the house ready, but it's where she was at. She wasn't standing up, she wasn't shaking his hand, she wasn't hugging him, none of that. She was literally at his feet. And I mean, there's probably a good chance she was weeping, she was probably crying, just thinking about how great Jesus was. And that's very, very cool to me, just to think that she literally had nowhere better to be than on the ground looking up at Jesus from his feet.
When I think about this, I almost think about like a little kid. I remember when I was little, I would sit on my grandfather's lap and he would tell me stories for hours on end, and I would just be so engulfed by it. And I can just imagine little kids sitting at somebody's feet and hearing stories, and they're so engulfed by the story and so in awe of what they're hearing that it's real in their minds. And I feel like that's probably what was happening to Mary. She was just like in complete awe of what Jesus was telling her, the fact that Jesus was there. And so I think that was a pretty good statement of how we should focus on our lives, Jesus, not the housework.
Yeah. And then you have to go on down in the verses as well and see where Jesus says that only one thing is needed. And that one thing, just as Mary's doing at his feet, is basically just keeping your eyes on him and focusing on him. There's nothing that we can do to get rid of the busyness and the hustle and bustle of our lives. That's unrealistic to think that we can just cut things out of our lives that are busy. That's just not going to happen. Like we said, we're just busy in modern day society. That's how life is. But we cannot allow that to take our focus off of Jesus. And the one thing that is needed is to keep your eyes on him and to look at him, focus on him, love him, and just try to be more like him. And that is something that if we don't do that, then everything else in our lives when it comes to our walk with Christ just isn't going to work. Because at the end of the day, if we're not keeping our eyes on him and focusing on what he wants for our lives, then we're not doing the one thing that is needed in the first place. And we have to make sure that we are, no matter what's going on in our lives, like I said, it's busy as can be, whether it be through school. I mean, this semester for her is going to be crazy. She's going to have so much stuff going on. For me, I'm going to have a lot going on with colleges coming up and trying to get all the admission stuff lined up, and I'm taking online classes. So both of our lives are going to be very busy within the next semester of our lives, and we just have to make sure that we don't let the busyness of our lives overtake and overshadow our walk with God, because once that happens, we're not in his will, because it's his will that we walk with him and be more like his son each and every day. And if we're not doing that, then God's not satisfied. We can always be better Christians and we can be closer to him.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason we wanted to start this in the first place, obviously to be able to reach and witness to as much people as we possibly could, but because we were realizing that, yes, we were doing our daily devotionals by ourselves and together, but it wasn't, we needed more. We needed to make sure our focus was on him, and this allows us to not only do our daily devotionals, go to church 3 times a week, but also have something to where we are teaching what we have learned and what we have focused on, what he's telling us that we need to put out there, and that's keeping our eyes on him amidst all of the things that are going on.
Yeah, and I think too now, as we've gotten a little bit bigger, we still don't have a ton of subscribers in the scale of things, but we have subscribers now to where it's almost as if it keeps us accountable, because we feel responsible, because we know that just from comments and things that you guys enjoy our videos, and we would be doing an injustice to God above all if we didn't do them every week. But now we feel the responsibility that we do these videos each and every week to hopefully help other people. And we're doing it for God, and it's all for him and his glory. but that's kind of like what you're talking about, because we just feel like if we don't do it, then we're not reaching our potential, because we now have the means to reach people on the internet that we might not even be able to talk to in everyday life. And if we're not utilizing it for Him and His glory, then that's almost, it's like there'd be a hole in our lives. We feel like we're not doing everything we could. But there's always somewhere that you can improve. There's always another area of your life that you can be better for Him. And you just have to keep your eyes on Him, and He will show you those things. If you pray and ask God to show you where you need to better yourself and be more like His Son, He'll show you. It's not going to be a big mystery where it's pick door number 1, 2, or 3, and He might show you. If you pray and ask Him to show you, He's going to, because He wants you to be more like His Son, Jesus. And all you've got to do is humble yourselves, get on your knees and pray. That's the big thing. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video with Mary being at His feet. That's a very humble position, is on the ground below someone looking up at them. You have to humble yourself before God, and He will reveal it to you where you need to change and what you need to do better.
Yeah.
Alright everyone, that's it for this week. Once again, it was kind of a shorter devotion, but she's not feeling the greatest, and I know I'm sure she's ready to cough by now, and so we're going to go ahead and just wrap this video up. It was a quick devotion. We hope you guys can take it and apply it to your lives. I know that we definitely need to review this video several times throughout this semester, as life's going to be pretty busy for us, and it's going to be something that can help us. We hope it helps you as well. Once again, just be praying for us, especially for Gabby, her first week going back, and hopefully she feels better. We'll be praying for you guys. If there's anything that you want to see, or anything at all, anything you want prayed for, even criticism, anything that you think that we should do different with our videos, just let us know. We're very receptive to that, and we would love to know what you guys think. We just hope that you guys have an awesome week, and we will hopefully see you next week. Once again, I'm Grant.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are the G Team.
And don't forget,
Do your best and let God do the rest.